So proportion is our next video that we needed. Proportion deals with the size relationships between objects. And we covered this a little bit just a minute ago in emphasis. So a larger object might actually draw more attention than a smaller object, unless a smaller object might be really brightly colored and the bigger object might be really dark. So proportion, a lot of these just really kind of blend in with each other and represent different parts of a bigger whole. So for my definition, or for the definition that's in the packet that we shared, proportion is the size relationship between various parts of an artwork. Artists can use scale and proportion to create sensations, such as depth, realism, disorientation, and drama. So the human figure here is scaled to appear larger than the city skyline. The proportions could indicate the depth of perspective. So this guy's standing a whole lot closer to us, and the city is way far away. It could also symbolize the relationship of a laborer within building the city. So an advertiser might use this, or somebody who works in public works might use this whole image, or we as an artist might use this image for a different reason. So here we have a painting by Maria Izquierdo called The Indifferent Child. And she plays around with different proportions of things in probably a surrealist point of view. I don't know if you can see it on here, but if you pull this up on your screen, there's a giant gourd here. And there's no way that this little girl would be with this giant gourd. And these doors, if you actually look at a true size relationship between a child and a door, a child's possibly going to be sitting up this high. So she's much smaller than this door would be in real life. But the artist is purposely playing with these and pushing your perception of what they should and shouldn't be. We do have this kite that's out here that might be a little bit bigger than what it would be, unless it's being flown right off of her balcony here. And there's some toys over here. So it's just a way to kind of play with you. A lot of our surrealist artists really, really played with proportion to force you to kind of think about how things would work. So those of you who are into sports, maybe you like golf better than you like basketball, but you would want to portray both of them. Maybe you draw your basketball really tiny, you draw your golf ball really big, just to play with the idea of what you think is important and what message you want to convey to somebody. Another way to think about proportion is in a landscape, the things closest to us. So let's say I have a landscape and I have this tree. And the tree has some branches. A lot of you, as I'm reading through your questionnaires, and I'm so sorry that I've not gotten to them yet, or I've not gotten a chance to read them all yet. A lot of you said that you just really like the opportunity to learn how to sketch more. When I was your all's age, I always took way too much time drawing, and I didn't understand how to sketch, and I was always really scared of making mistakes and going back and erasing things. And when I got to college, they didn't give us the opportunity to really kind of slow down. They gave you a really big piece of charcoal that's really hard to erase, and you just kind of went for it. And so you've seen kind of where I've started with this tree, and I have these crazy branches heading over here, but then I'm going back in and kind of filling this out more. So just a little bit of a sketching demo while we're at it. So this tree is going to be in our foreground. I'm going to go ahead and create a horizon line back here. And maybe this is going to be kind of I'm going to give it kind of a little edge of a pond. And back here, I'm just going to put some, I don't know, grass or whatever growing on the edge of the pond. And maybe I have a little bit of a hill that's coming up over here. And maybe I just want to go ahead and put a tree in way over here, but this tree proportionately is going to be smaller because it is farther away from me. And I can go back in and maybe I have like right here, I could put in like the edge of like a sunflower. And, you know, I'm looking over the sunflower and the sunflower is just going to kind of overlap everything. If I was working in paint, that would be a whole lot easier because I could just paint right over top of all this other stuff that I put on here. It's going to be hard for me to like show the edges of the sunflower in here now. But I could like play around with it. That's another thing with these thumbnail sketches. I'm coming up with ideas and putting them where I want to do it. I do this in my sketchbook. I do this where it's not precious. I might try a couple different, maybe I don't put a sunflower in them. I try them with maybe, you know, maybe I put mountain ranges or something back here. Maybe I try it with, you know, a sunset or so, you know, I can play around with what's happening. And then I go onto my canvas, or I take this idea and I do it big. But you saw how quickly I can sketch this out. And this is just something that comes along with practice. You just play around with things, and it's kind of cool to work with a pen because you don't have the opportunity to go back and erase it. And you can sketch lightly, and then you can build in areas. And then if you messed up something, see there's several different like tree branches back here that I never went back and fully formed. I'm just leaving them in there sketchy. Obviously, clearly, I can't go back and erase them. But so this is an example of proportion. Obviously, got a big one and a little one back here. I could have messed around with and put the little one up here and put the big one back here. And then in real life, the big one would be a whole lot bigger. Clearly, these are flat objects. They're not going back into space, but proportion is one of those tricks that we can use to create that sense of space, that illusion of space within a flat object. So balance is next. Let me upload this one.